Hi, and welcome to this presentation on ethical thinking in programming. My name is Lisa Steffensen. I work at Western Norway University of Applied Sciences together with my co-authors Kjellrun Hauge and Rune Herheim. Programming is increasingly influencing society in invisible ways. What kind of information people receive on social media, findings in search engines, who get treated in hospitals or gain access to vaccine, terms of insurances, access to loan are just a few examples. O'Neill denoted mathematics-based algorithms as weapons of mass destruction. If they contribute to destructive decisions, for example, increasing inequality in society through biased mathematization of a problem, this can ultimately threatens democracy because the invisible algorithms steer human favoring certain interests. An awareness of who codes, how we code, and why we code is crucial due to algorithmic biases and the social implication and harms the artificial intelligence can cause. With these concerns in mind, it is important to remember the wonders of algorithms, for example, improved medical care, smartphones, and a range of other technology. Our research focus concerns how ethical thinking can be a part of programming. Computational thinking, programming, or coding is included in at least 20 national curriculums. This number are likely to have increased. In Norway, programming has become a significant part in the curricula in 5 subjects: mathematics, natural science, music, art and design, and as an elective subject. An aim of the elective subject is to develop an ethical awareness and critical thinking regarding processes and uses of technology, while in mathematics, one aim is to develop an understanding of technology that can help students make responsible life choices. Investigating ethical thinking when programming is a rather new research field within mathematics education. In this paper, we start exploring what such ethical thinking might be. We do this by first conducting a literature review to identify key topics in the researches that addresses ethical thinking and programming in education. Secondly, we present 3 programming tasks and discuss them in light of the identified topics in the review. We used 2 databases, ERIC and Scopus, during the literature search. Examples of search words are coding, programming, and various forms of ethics. The article should also involve education. The search was limited to full-text articles from 2010 to 2020. A total of 255 texts were identified, but the majority of these were not relevant. Example, the words coding and programming, they did not refer to computing or programming at all. Ultimately, 25 of the 255 articles were scrutinized, and a more comprehensive review could have included other search words, other search engines, conference proceeding, and books. We categorized the included literature in terms of 3 identified topics. The first topic was reason for including ethics to learning in programming. One reason is because programming is not necessarily value-free. Another reason is to avoid merely a mechanical learning. Therefore, education should include discussions of the ramification of technologies. A third reason is to give an awareness that digital technology is shaping the world, also in ways that are unfair and destructive, and that big data and artificial intelligence are particular topics that require ethical reflection. The second topic was code literacy. Ethical reflection and ethical decision-making is argued to be a part of code literacy. It should facilitate ethical awareness, reasoning, and reflection related to decision making in real-world problems. It should include an understanding of the code, its intention, and the context. Code literacy is about understanding and living in a digitalized world. Lastly, the third identified topic was facilitating ethical thinking. Such learning can be done by working with real problems while applying ethical theory, and one can identify how decision options affect stakeholders differently, and one can draw attention to ethical dilemmas. Max is a mathematics teacher, a science and programming teacher in lower secondary school. She develops several tasks for an elective subject, programming. We present 3 of these tasks in this paper that are chosen because they somehow involve ethical aspects. The first task involved the ethics of self-driving cars. She had made a pamphlet with some information. One of the paragraphs reads as follows. In the development of self-driving cars, systems and services must be developed. Program is an important element to achieve this, but merely developing technology is not sufficient. Students must reflect on the possibilities and challenges this technology presents and take a stand on associated ethical issues. She thus focuses on that artificial intelligence technology in self-driving cars includes both possibilities and ethical challenges. It implies that such technology is not value-free and is therefore a reason for including ethics in computational thinking. The task further encourages reflections on ethical issues which later are connected to the programmer's role. Machines do not have ethics and morals. They do as they are programmed. And if a self-driving car is in a situation where someone has to die, it must choose. How should we decide how it should act? And will we buy a car that is programmed to kill us? The illustration is a screenshot from the moral machine, where students can in some ways get a glimpse of choices that may be made. This first task suggests that the teacher understands code literacy as something more than just technical aspect, as it calls for ethical awareness and reasoning on decision making associated with a real-world problem. The second task concerns how drones can monitor and be a tool to counteract climate change. Reading from one of the paragraphs from this task, have you ever wondered how we can use drones to stop climate change? Use your creative skills to find a solution where drones can be used for this purpose. Present creative suggestion on solution by programming a mini drone so that it conducts an operation that can help stop climate change. The third task is on how drones and programming can help create a better future. A snippet from the task goes as, Mother Teresa says that sometimes we think that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. But the ocean would be much smaller without that drop. Create a product that can be programmed either block or text-based, and which can help make the world a better place to live for children in the future. And these two extract from 2 different tasks. The students are asked to contribute to make the world a better place for future children. Preventing global warming and making the world a better place are ethical topics in themselves and give reasons for ethical reflection. This task suggests that drones can have an essential role in monitoring climate change. For instance, surveying in remote places. They could partly replace fossil transportation, plant seeds in agriculture, replant forests after deforestation. So both indirect and directly contribute to less CO2 emission. And this implies that ethics can be embedded in the programming context and not necessarily connected to whether the specific choices of coding are ethical. We did not find examples of programming in education that aims to prove societal problems in a literature review. Mark's task, however, connect programming with ethical concern for future children and society, and may raise equity issues in the process of solving the task. The picture is taken from some of Mac's students where they, during their corona homeschooling, designed a drone that picked garbage from a nearby lake. Findings from the literature review demonstrated the relevance of ethical thinking in relation to programming. We identified 3 topics from the literature review: reasons to include ethical thinking in education and programming, code literacy, and how to facilitate ethical thinking in programming. We used these topics to identify relevant qualities and further potential of 3 programming tasks. The 3 tasks added valuable perspectives that were not documented in a literature review, and the review reveals that relevant empirical examples are scarce. Our next step is thus to do empirical research on ethical thinking and programming in the classroom. A list of some of the references used in this presentation. The full presentation is found in the paper. And thank you for your attention, and looking forward to see you at MES.